Hello, it's Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success seminars, where we share knowledge and tools for you to live a life you love and ageless anti-aging for your brain, your body, and your future. Since this is Women's History Month, I've had a lot of interviews where people have asked me questions about women and power. In fact, one of the questions that almost every interviewer has asked was, how do we as women take back our power? Well, I'm not so sure we ever had the power in the first place, so I'm not so sure that we're taking it back. But I have discussed a few things about how we can be more powerful, and I thought, why not share them with you? And really, most of what I have to say applies to both men and women. So take a listen and see what you think. About 10 years ago, I read an article in Forbes that I've loved to refer to ever since. And in the article was listed ways that women can stop being so accommodating and start growing in our power. And that article said that if we did these things, it would make a big difference in the way we're perceived, and especially in the workplace. One thing that was suggested was to use more powerful language, starting with getting rid of the word just. I remember thinking, really? We just have to get rid of the word just? But it works. Here's an example. What we usually say is, oh, I'm just checking in to see, or I just wanted you to know, or I just called because. In this article, it suggested that we listen to ourselves for a week. And when we're about to say the word just, don't say it. Instead, say, I'm checking in. Or instead of, I just wanted you to know, say, I wanted you to know. Or instead of, I just called because, you say, I called because. Can you feel the energetic difference? It's subtle, but it's really profound. And it changes the whole energy of what you're saying or asking. I remember taking that 1 week challenge, which was to notice for 1 week how often I said just. And I was astounded to notice that I hardly spoke a declarative sentence without the word just in it. And it was actually scary for me to eliminate it, but I felt empowered when I did. Then in the article, it went on to suggest we replace weak words with stronger ones to, again, change the power of our overall communication. So, for example, instead of saying, I think or I believe, they suggested that we opt for stronger options like, I'm confident that, or instead of, I feel like what could happen, we might want to say, I expect what could happen is. And these simple replacements, I'm confident what could happen is, or I expect what can happen is, can make a difference in how our message is perceived and how we're perceived. I mean, we don't want to be bullies at all costs or right at all costs. So we're not like, I know what could happen, because we don't. So I'm not saying we should act like the boss and the devil wears Prada, but we also might want to stop wimping around. Another thing women tend to do to weaken our power is to constantly apologize when it's so not necessary. Have you noticed that men usually don't do that? And it's not very attractive when they do. Saying you're sorry unnecessarily puts you in a weak, like immediately in a weak or even a subservient position. So, oh, I'm so sorry I interrupted. Oh, I'm so sorry I shouldn't have asked that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I misquote you? I'm so sorry I missed what you said. I'm so sorry that I'm sorry. Watch when you apologize and just eliminate the phrase pretty much entirely. Only apologize when it's truly warranted. Or you could say, I missed what you said, or I interrupted. Please go ahead, instead of, oh, I'm so sorry I interrupted. Please go ahead. One more way we can be more powerful, and many of us in the workplace have experienced this, is to stop letting people take credit for our ideas. You bring up a point in a meeting, nobody seems to hear you. Later, someone else repeats your thought and people applaud at the great idea. When you stay silent and let others take credit for your ideas, you give your power away. So I say, take your credit, girl. Here's one way you might want to do that. You could simply say, "Thank you, John, for bringing up the idea that I proposed earlier." And of course, there's nothing you can do to feel more powerful than to say no. When you say no to something that doesn't feel totally right for you, you're not really saying no. You're actually saying yes. You're saying yes to yourself and to your needs instead of the needs of someone else. And when you take care of your deepest needs in the long run, ultimately, everyone will get taken care of. When we don't say no, it's only because we want approval, we want people to like us, we don't want to appear selfish, but that behavior comes at the expense of our own health and happiness. And I've always believed when you do what's best for yourself, when you act in alignment with your own truth, the way the universe works is that you're also serving the highest good of the other person. When you say yes, when you really want to say no, you're probably going to end up feeling some degree of subtle resentment about doing whatever it is that you've agreed to do. You'll feel resentment towards the other person, even though you're the one who said yes, and you didn't have to. It was your choice. So if the thought of saying no makes you really uncomfortable, here are a couple of baby steps that you can take. Start with the little things. This one, my dear friends and co-founder of Your Year of Miracles, Marcy Shimoff, suggests as a starter. When you walk through the department store and the perfume demonstrator asks if you want a spritz, in a very nice way, you can say, "No, thank you. I'm sure it's lovely, but not today." You think you could try that one on? Another baby step you can take is if somebody calls you, like a telemarketer or someone asking for a donation to a cause, instead of being rude like they expect you to be, say something like, "I'm really not interested right now, and I would like you to take me off your list, but it sounds like such a good cause, and I wish you great success tonight." It's braver than just hanging up, and it actually develops that muscle where you're able to say no. Marcy and I both love that one. I mean, they won't believe you said something nice while you're saying no. And usually they'll say something back like, "Wow, thanks for being so nice," or "That's so nice of you. You said no and you made their day." So you're probably the only person all night that was kind to them. So you'll end up feeling great, even though you just said no. And you'll feel more and more empowered each time. So here's a little project that you could take on between now and the next time we're together. And that is to say no to at least one thing a day, or maybe it'll be every other day, just one thing that you genuinely want to say no to, but you were about to say yes to. There might be a feeling of contraction at the moment, but just breathe into it and notice how empowered you feel on the other side. And here's a way to make it easier. Usually women, more than men, I know it's a generalization, but it's just what I've observed. Women have a knee-jerk reaction and we say yes spontaneously. So next time you're about to say your spontaneous yes, remember that you're allowed to pause. So pause, take a breath, give yourselves a few moments before you respond and ask yourself if it's really a yes. Remind yourself that time is not a renewable resource and the world will in fact go on even when you say no. And then give your genuine answer. If you're not sure, you could always say, "I'm not sure that will work, but can I get back to you tomorrow?" And I am going to end today with a little story about Warren Buffett and saying no. Marcy and I have a friend who had lunch with him, and our friend asked him, "What do you think is the key to your extraordinary success?" And he said, "Oh, that's easy. The key is that I say no to 99.99% of the things that come my way." He's also been quoted as saying, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." So look inside your heart, say no to the things that are really a no, use more powerful language, stop apologizing, and don't forget to take credit when you deserve it. Let me know in the comments how it goes and how much more powerful you feel. So happy Women's History Month to all of you powerful women and to all of you incredible men who partner with them. And I look forward to seeing many of you in my Yes to Success 10-week course that begins on March 23rd. For more information, if you don't know about it, just go to yes2success.com. I send you my love.